Okay. Politics and bullshit again. This time we've got a very full house. We've got 6 of us here today. So, you know, it's going to take some patience. Everybody's got a lot to say, I think, judging by before we started recording. So, you know, we've got Lennis Dynamiks here.
Yeah.
In the building.
Mm-hmm.
Abi-K. Amani music, sorry, I forgot that.
No, I'm plugging door.
Straight on it. Let's not fuck about.
We've got Abi-K in the corner there. Me, Greg Rogers.
Solange. Amani music.
Yeah. Music consultants.
Adam from Making Change.
And Aaron making change.
I feel like it's Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm here for blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Can't stop doing it.
Yeah.
So how is everyone anyway?
Good, great.
I'm hungry.
Great.
I am now after all these technical difficulties. I was going to eat an hour ago.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here after how many times I've said that I would be here, you know what I mean? Like, it's good to be here. Love to see what you guys are actually doing. I've known these guys like forever. And when I saw Making Change come up on Instagram, I was like, wow, okay, who are these guys? Like, oh wow, Greg and Aaron. I was like, I know these people. I was like, this is good. I love the name as well, Making Change. It says everything in the name as well, so that's a good name. Can't believe that wasn't taken though.
It was. No. So yeah, it's a pleasure to have you, man.
Yeah,
Like,
it's good.
we've been talking about doing this for a little while now, and now we're here. Let's get into the nitty gritty, man. So, Lennis, I'm gonna start with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
What have you been up to, man? Since those college days, what you been doing?
A lot.
That's a
but-
long time.
Yeah,
that's a very long time, man. I would say, you know what, just give the people some context of how we know each other.
Yeah, basically from Bourneville College, where I tried to study unsuccessfully actually. It wasn't no fault of my own, but I was actually studying business.
Okay.
And psychology, and literally had this friend of mine, Scottish friend called Dan, and we were the only 2 guys that graduated, that passed basically the exams in that class. So I was doing my A-levels, and they told me I could not continue my A-levels at Bourneville College because they didn't want to teach just two people in a class.
Alright, okay,
Yeah, it's just as crazy as that. So then I went on, I left you guys, then I went on, took a couple years out, then I tried music at Metropolitan College in town, and that was a shambles. Like, they were actually building the studios while we were attending classes. They were still working on the studios. Like the music department, everything else in the college was brand new, but the music department, it was just a lack of interest. And one time they moved us to building across to it. It's like some kind of warehouse kind of thing. So I was just like, this is just bullshit. So I was like, I'm just leaving formal education for a bit. You know what I mean?
I don't blame you, man. It's you got the raw deal, man.
Yeah, and then I went to work. And then somebody like heard my music on MySpace, because it was like MySpace back in the day. And this one girl from church was like, yo, what you doing, man? Like, I heard that beat that you made, man. Like, you're sick. Like, what are you doing? I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing on a call center. She was like, nah, man, you need to get back on it, you need to do it. So then that kind of inspired me, so I started thinking about it. It's like, I should do this. And then my friend who used to live here was like, listen, like, you should just go back to college. But he was a teacher. He's like, listen, you can be a teacher, go back to college. Once you graduate, you get like a golden handshake of $3,000. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go back to college, but not to be a teacher. I'm gonna go back and study music. So cut down my job part-time. My bosses, they weren't impressed because they were just like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. Went back. And then one day, I just had that moment, So I was at college, it was like 24, studying music. Then when I walked into the office, it's like, what am I doing here at this place? Like selling accident insurance. I was like, I can't do this no more. So I took the plunge. And I was just like, you know what? I just need to quit. The bosses told me, like, is there anything I do? Feels like, nah, I need to go. I need to quit. I remember it was a Friday. I was meant to last until 3 o'clock. I just stood up and I just walked out. I literally just stood up, I walked out. I left, like, what you want to call it, a normal job or the system or the matrix.
The 9 to 5.
Yeah, the 9 to 5. And I just completely plunged, like, my heart and my soul, like, into music completely. Like, and for the last, that was 2012 that I graduated from my HND. And February 8th, I remember I opened my first studio, Brown Donkey Factory. And since then, I've had 2 studios. I just got my brand new studio open. It's Amani Music. It's not even finished yet. You guys have seen it, right?
Yeah, it's been nice.
Yeah. And for the last, let's say, from 2013 until 2019, I've never had a job since then. I've never had a job since then. People look at me like, is this all you do? And I'm like, yes, this is all I do. It's difficult, you swear it.
Yeah.
It's difficult as fuck, but
It's difficult because I think you trade in security for liberty. And I think people find that like a hard concept to grasp because, you know, security is everything, but they're forgetting to be free. I mean, what was your journey like, Abi?
Turbulent.
Yeah?
But I'm a little younger, so I still got a
Okay.
way to go. So I'm
saying I'm old.
no.
That's what I heard. 100%.
That's
Pretty
not what I'm
much.
saying. No, but I'm only 2 years older than when you left Telesale. But a lot has happened in a very short space of time, like it happens with music all the time. But I kind of got sick of 9 to 5 a little earlier. I had to like dip back into it last summer because I was trying to replenish savings, and I only lasted, what was it, 2 months?
Damn.
Yeah.
I know, right? I'm just like, I can't do
How much
this
did
anymore.
you save?
And nothing. Lost money. I lost money. So that was fun. But I don't just do music. I do mainly music, but I'm dog trainer too. So that's my 9 to 5/6 till whatever.
You're
In the morning.
dog trainer?
Dog trainer, dog walker, yeah.
Okay, do you work for women?
Wow.
Oh.
You know they always say that men are dogs, so I was just like, oh, a dog trainer. I'm playing.
Can I
Sorry, Greg.
don't apologise to me. Don't apologise to me. I want to ask you both a question. When did the music start? Where did it start for you? Can you remember?
You go first.
I remember, I think it's like at 5 years. 5 years when me and my cousins like snuck under, like, because in the Caribbean kind of build houses sometimes on stilts a bit. So underneath we had like a place we could all hang out. We just took like a bunch of buckets, really big paint buckets, and they used them to carry water. We set those up, and we had like, it's gonna sound so funny, but there's this milk called Nido. I know you've ever heard of Nido, but it's in a metal. It's in a metal container, and the lid of it. So we took the lid of it and we used that to be hi-hat. So I remember like being 5 and us setting up that, and we used to just make so much noise in the neighborhood. Like all our moms and stuff like that, but like, you guys are always underneath there just banging away from that time. And I remember like starting church, but going to church. And I remember I used to fall in love with the drums. We never had a drum set, but every time there was a concert, a drummer would come. I remember this guy, he was named Fat Man. In the Caribbean, whatever happened to you, that's your name. So if you had a broke leg, that was broke leg. If you had a broke leg, yeah. So literally, Fat Man, and I was just like, yo, I just wanted to be a drummer. And that kind of stuck with me until I moved to Angola when I was 14. I picked up the drums one day at church, and so it's always been like that. My cousin plays guitar, my dad plays bass, and he sings. I just found out that at a funeral, coincidentally, that my grandmother and my grandfather both played instruments, and their whole family time was everyone sitting down together and then playing instruments. So I've come from a very musical background. My sister's a got a beautiful voice. She's a singer as well. So it's in my heritage, my lineage, my tribe. Yeah. Yeah. So
I've got a random question then. So
Yeah.
as a drummer, and you remember watching the drummers, you know, when you go and watch anything, you still watch the drummer. You know, like you zone in
Yeah.
on somebody. Like
Yeah.
I'll always be watching. I'll always say the engine room at the back. I'll always be watching like the bass and the drums just working as a team.
As a
Do you know what I
team.
mean?
Yeah,
But I'm
yeah.
always honing on the drummer. I'm always
I-
seeing what he's doing, what he's up to.
I zoom in on the drummer. When I used to play as well in church, like my cousin, he was always like the bass drum, the kick and the bass needs to be in time. And literally, he has the most stern face ever. He's a brilliant bassist, but he would just look if I overplayed
Step out
or
of
something,
line.
he would just look over at me like get back on the groove. So I learned how to just stay in the pocket and become a pocket drummer because he's just looking at me like, what you doing? You're doing too much. Boom. So he was boom, boom, da-dum, and then kick up like boom, 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 boom. So you had to lock in the foundation, as you call it, lock in the foundation. So I just really learned from my cousin, Len, shout out to him, how to just really lock in the foundation as a drummer. Shamefully, I don't even play drums anymore. It's so sad. Like,
Should play, man.
I can't. I don't have a. I now have a space where I can put a drum kit back into it finally. You know what I mean? Yeah.
How about you, Abby? Where did it
Um,
start?
Well, I come from a musical background too. Mum is a professional singer and dad professional guitarist. He's actually got a beautiful voice, but he won't admit it. But stuff. And all of my grandparents, because I got step grandparents too, would all sing. One of them, bless her, she passed a few months ago. She was a flamenco singer and dancer as well. So she,
Oh wow.
yeah, and she would teach Spanish people flamenco, and she's English. Yeah, I
Wow.
like that.
Yeah. Nice.
But so music's always been around. I didn't really notice it until, well, I'd have my nan and my mum always sing lullabies to me. So that I suppose that's the earliest thing. So like jazz songs, like all jazz standards, wartime songs and Disney songs, like Lady and the Tramp, that kind of stuff. But then kind of me noticing it and noticing that I could make a nice sound for a 6-year-old.
Oh wow.
Well, at like 6, when I started boarding school actually, they had, there was the emphasis on music and sport and mainly music. And it was choir. And I realised, well, I was made to sing high. They were like, right, you're going to be soprano, you're small and skinny, go, and you're a girl, go sing soprano. So, and I realised I quite liked it, and I didn't find it hard. So I always tried to play guitar like my dad, but I found it really hard. I had really small hands, I still kind of do. And I would just get so frustrated with it, so I kind of gave up. I was like, oh no, that's for dad, I'm not doing that. He can do that. I'm not doing. And my mom didn't play, so I was like, oh no, I'll be like my mom, and I'll sing and choir, yeah. And then I think when I was 10, my music teacher at the same school played Summertime, Nina Simone's version, and we were all sat in a circle, and we had to close our eyes and listen to it. And I think we might have had like drawing pads in front of us, and we were meant to draw with our eyes closed, kind of what it made us feel. And I can't remember what I drew, but I remember crying, and I got picked on. It was like whispers and stuff. Like, what? Why is she crying? She's so stupid. Because I was a crybaby at school because I missed my family. I was just a very annoying child. And then I remember crying, and my teacher, Paul Engelhardt, shout out to him. He's a great sax player. But anyway, he took me to one side and he told me about Nina Simone. Then I went back on the weekend and asked my nan about her, because we used to listen to a lot of Julie London and Ella Fitzgerald, so I didn't really know who Nina Simone was, and I just loved the passion. And then I discovered Billie Holiday, and then Paul was like, right, okay, we're going to do this soiree, so it's like an end of year concert. I think you should do Summertime. I was like, well, no, I only sing like choral stuff. I can't sing that. That was listening to Ella and Nina, like, I can't do that. And I kind of was researching and was like, I haven't felt that pain that they've gone through and that music associates.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand it yet, but I was like, I can't sing about that. And Paul encouraged my dad to play guitar. Paul played sax, and I sang Summertime. And yeah, it was really cool, and I quite liked the effect it had on me, I also realised that, oh, these people like this. I'd never sung in front of anyone by myself before. It was always with a big choir. So that's kind of where it started and went from there.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Can we hear what you sound like then? For the people out there who don't know what
Oh,
sound
shit.
like.
Put her on the spot.
I'm a producer.
Right now?
Yeah, well, just a chorus.
Okay.
Of summertime, actually.
Okay.
So,
Wow. I've had brandy, but okay, that's fine.
That's
Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Oh, your daddy's rich and your ma is good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry.
sing.
Oh. Yes.
Yes, that was nice. Especially the low end, that was really nice.
Yeah, I prefer being like contralto now to soprano.
Yeah,
I
that
get
was
lazy.
nice.
I don't like singing that anymore. I do it, but.
I can see a potential collab in the works. Method to the
You
madness.
like jazz.
I love
Tell them
jazz.
about
I
jazz.
don't just sing jazz.
I love jazz. I love playing jazz. I love playing blues.
Yeah.
Which leads me to my next question.
Right.
What are you? Who are your main influences in music growing up?
It's crazy because obviously you grew up in the Caribbean.
Mm.
It's like soca, reggae, dancehall. You know what I mean? And it's like obviously you heard heavily because we had BT in the Caribbean, so we constantly 90s music, R&B, hip hop, soul, jazz, and all that kind of stuff. And but for me personally, I really loved the Roots. I really loved Common. I was a big Dr. Dre fan. Like obviously at that time it was Dr. Dre, it was Timbaland, and it was Pharrell, and there was Jazzy Faye, and why
There's a lot of producers there. Interestingly.
yeah, the reason why, because it was literally like West Coast versus East Coast. There was the Diddy and them. You had the New York sound, you had the Atlanta sound. So it was really like different kind of camps, and out of those camps, then you had the Miami sound, Slip and Slide, Trina, Trick Daddy. These so it was like in America.
New York had a different sound as well.
Yeah, New York had a different sound as well, of course. You know what I mean? And that was like the biggest of that was obviously Puff Daddy and Biggie, and you know, Nas, Jay-Z. So it was like, but behind them that time, Puff was the producer from that kind of era. Kind of, if you kind of look at it that way, you know what I mean? In terms of, so there's a reason why I'm saying the producers, because being a producer, obviously, I was always kind of looking at the producer and just looking at the way how they were crafting these records. But what interested me most about Dre was that his music was so simple, but sophisticated. Like I remember being in Anguilla and when was it obviously Dre 2001 came out, obviously the Watchers, boom boom boom, it's like boom 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 boom, and it was just boom 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 boom, you know, and it's just like
you could figure it out on a keyboard. Like you could figure it out. Do you know what I mean? Even not knowing, you could mess around with it. There's a keyboard line, man. You could mess around and figure out. And I'd do the same with basses as well. I'd pick up basses and just try and figure out the bass lines to stuff. I'd be obsessed with that. I was obsessed with that album, man.
Dre 2001.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, the Chronic. For me, it was simple, but it was, you could not stop nodding your head to that.
Yeah. It was almost like there was always a
engine room.
You could always tell the great producers, you could always tell it was their music, really.
Yeah.
You knew it was what's the word I'm looking for?
Sonic signature. They had a sonic signature.
Yeah, so you knew your NERD and your Pharrells, and you knew your Timberlands, you knew your Dre.
Of course, like Nerd, they were NERD, for example, Pharrell and Chad. They were famous for that kind of like sparse, but heavy hitting kind of drums, kind of weird sounds, not the normal drum sounds. And Timbaland was known for that kind of syncopated, again, that kind of weird synthy kind of vibe, and Indian kind of sound, world kind of sounds, and even he used his mouth as well. Like, but he was just like, like their whole era was mad. I think in terms of modern music, I think their era, 90s and 2000, was the peak of I would say R&B and hip hop, all kind of urban modern music. I think it will come back at some point, but that richness, that rich tapestry of music was just that time. Like,
yeah, definitely.
The conditions around it, I don't know if it maybe might come again, but I don't even know. There was just so much good music being pumped at that time. Like, that was when.
Is there anyone that stands out now, like, that you look at and go, like, amongst the nonsense, they stand out, or they stand out that are doing it now?
I was going to say that there's a lot more cannon fodder that you've got to get through now to find good music.
Yeah.
So before like you can go on the internet and you'll hear so much rubbish.
Yeah.
But there are still great producers out there.
Producers, I wasn't gonna say anything because I don't know anything about producers, but Joyner and Hobson.
Hobson.
In terms of content. And even the beat, wherever it's on, but I don't care about what it's on at that point in time, but just the content in terms of wading through bullshit and music, but go on with the production. So.
I was going to say, as a producer, when you're listening to music, are you listening, and you as a singer, are you listening to the music or the lyrical content of a song? Like, can you listen to a song that's not good lyrically, but the beat's good, so you like it?
It's a difficult thing for me because, like, I'm a deep person, but sometimes I like bullshit if the beat's you know what I mean? Sometimes like, if the beat's like really, really crazy.
Some ignorant shit.
Like, I like bullshit. Like the last bullshit that I really like, I think, but the beat was probably like Mask Off.
The beat's nuts.
The beat's nuts.
Yeah. Nuts.
I don't know, like, he's talking about Monty Percocet, but the beat is ridiculously like mad and gritty. And before that, it was like, no offense, but Niggas in Paris, the beat and that was just critical. And a woman, Wonder Girl, allegedly, don't quote me, don't go on Google and research it, but she made the beat to that, and she came up knocking men out of beat battle competitions. So like some Wonder Girl is somebody I actually look up to. That's from a young age. Yeah, she was knocking guys out. She was going and there's you could type her in on YouTube and just see her knocking guys out with her beats in beat battles. So yeah, and then she created that mad beat. Niggas Surprise it's just a sick beat. But my overall
She made that beat?
Yeah.
Why did I think that Kanye made that beat?
Nah, she made that
I thought Kanye made all the beats on that album.
Nah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kanye the franchise beats.
Yeah.
Like, he just stamp. He'd get it in, make a little executive production change, and then put Kanye on the beat, but really, it's somebody else's beat.
A lot of producers are doing that now, aren't they? Who was Scott Storch working with?
Oh, Dr. Dre.
Dre.
But and then there's another thing that comes into it, which I'm beginning to realize the older I get now, because I'm now, when I was younger, I used to be so against sampling. I used to be so against if you couldn't play an instrument, I didn't consider you a producer. But all I realized, you got two types of producers. Well, there's many types, but two main types of producers. See, in the rock side, for example, let's say the white side of music, the producers can play instruments, but they don't necessarily play any instruments on the albums at all. You understand? You bring the producer in for the vision and for the project management side of things. But when so there were a lot of visionaries that really didn't get credited, like Puff Daddy, for example. He doesn't really produce, but he's a visionary. Dre, who can actually play piano well, a lot of the times he would be more of a visionary producer because he had like a underling called Focus, who he used to produce alongside with him, and Scott Storch, who's played on a lot of the play piano for a lot of the records that we love. But it's really the guy who says that's too much.
Yeah,
or who's got the ear, who's be like, oh, you see that part that you play? That's the part you need to loop. That's the part that we need to loop now for the rest of that. Take all of that and make that part of the beat. And the person who's able to do that, that's the person who has the ability to create the hit record in the room. That's the producer.
I guess it's a bit like, as you say, project managing.
Yeah.
Managing the project, you got to know when to delegate things. If you know someone can do something well, you might as well let them do that, and you can concentrate on focus on another part of the record. Yeah. Kind of pull it together like that.
Because if you, for example, if you watch the Dr. Dre,
the Defiant Ones. Brilliant, yeah.
With Eazy-E, did you see? They made Eazy-E. I was so shocked when I saw it. Eazy-E was like a product, like he had the gruff voice and everything, but they were all. And one guy was there writing the lyrics.
But a lot of the hip hop personas from back then were similar to Eazy-E. They were created, they were made. Like, it was a facade, it was a label.
But isn't that just entertainment on a whole?
Yeah, but I think we bought in, and that's when we started really buying into these facades and taking on that imagery, just in general, as pop culture.
Yeah, definitely. Because it happens in all sorts of music. Like, people that give it, you've got raw talent, don't get me wrong, you must have a bit of talent to make it, but the whole packaging, you might not even see it that much these days because of independence. You know, because people can have their own channel.
Yeah, there can be a lot more free, can't they? With the platform that you've got.
Yeah, but you don't. Well, from what I've seen, you don't see the really independent people being really famous.
Yeah.
Nothing against the artists who are really famous.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I like. I'm gonna regret saying this. I like some of the stuff that Justin Bieber has done. I'll dance to it.
Yeah.
I've covered some of it. I like it.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I don't personally think he is the be all and end all. I think he could be taken out. There'd be space for someone else.
Yeah, definitely.
There's, I think if he wasn't so young when he was discovered by Usher, I think it was.
Yeah, by Usher on YouTube.
Yeah, which is cool. And I was like, cool, YouTube, I'll just put loads of stuff on, I'll be discovered by Usher and it's fine, I'll marry him, it's fine.
You don't want to do that, no?
That didn't happen. No, that didn't. No.
What have you been up to?
Oh God, don't even. Go read about it, it's not over.
It's like my head in the sand with this one.
The difficult thing is, you see, how can I put it? It's like, music really is a factory, right? And before the Beatles came along, a lot of those boy bands were literally manufactured. Like, in the sense of, like, they didn't write anything. Sometimes people were faking playing their instruments. They had to look a certain part. Then when the Beatles came in, and I think I was just watching, I think they came in and they were writing, they were playing their own instruments, they were singing their own songs. These guys were making, I think they're selling, don't quote me again, because obviously got a lot in my head, but I think over 250,000 at their peak, over 250,000 records a week.
They were one of my main
physical
influences.
copies.
Yeah, I don't think if you can grasp this for a second, 250,000 physical copies a week.
That's people in an entire year now.
Do you understand where I'm coming from? Yeah, that's people in their entire year now. And then what that sparked now, everybody now wanted to go out and not write their own stuff. So all of the manufactured bands was just like, no, because we need to write our own records now. So then the real inspired the fake to become real, and then real became fake again. Did you get that? I'll say that again. The real inspired the fake to become real, but the fake was only pretending to be real. So then real now, so everybody was writing real music, but then it became fake again.
Okay.
And this is what always happens within me. Does that make sense now? And that's what always happens within music. So now, if, for example, now there's a renaissance where everybody's now being organic and becoming organic, what the manufacturer section will always do, hey, the artists that we have now don't even say that you're signed anymore.
Yeah,
We're now we're now putting you out as an organic person. Let's make you start on YouTube then if that's what's gonna upload. That's what they will always do. So you're always gonna have you're always backing up against the giants, 3 giants now that are left, Warner, Universal and Sony, and they have ate up so many other people that you don't even know who's who and who's under who's a subsidiary of who. But when it comes down to it, what makes a star, and that's the key thing that everybody looks for. Like, what makes a star? Like a star like Whitney Houston, who didn't really write her records at all, but had just incredible control and just an incredible voice.
Undeniable.
Can you take away anything from her because she didn't write her own records? And that's the question I could pose to anybody.
She delivered it.
No.
Exactly.
It's all about delivery.
Yeah,
All about delivery.
I watched a video of her on stage with Pavarotti the other day, and she was messing about and she started singing opera, and everyone on stage was like, "Wow!" And she just absolutely smashed it, and then she started laughing like and walked off, and it was just like, I really do this,
Yeah. So, anyways, I don't want to take over because I love music, so I don't want to just like take it over.
Did the situation flick on its head? Because I know a lot of the Beatles records was broken only recently, in retrospect, by One Direction, which is technically it's flicked on its head again. So the universe has done this again because them records.
But they're like the quintessential boy band. Like, I would think some
yeah,
of
but
them actually right there on
just from a point of view of manufactured and non-manufactured.
Across the board, people like bullshit.
They were put
you
together.
actually watched the process. I don't know. One of them.
With One Direction, people like bullshit across the board. Everybody loves bullshit. So that's why bullshit will always sell. Because no matter who you are, you like the bullshit.
To be fair with you though, they don't hurt my ears. They can like carry a tune. I don't really like them very much.
Well, they were picked individually.
But yeah, I'm not like what's his face? Oh,
Liam.
I don't remember.
From One Direction.
Yeah, Liam.
Liam.
The one that was with Cheryl Cole.
Zayn.
Yeah, that's Liam.
Zayn was the
Liam?
best.
I like
Yeah.
Zayn. And his
best.
People
like,
claimed
his
him as a
production
Brummie,
with
but
his
he was a
tracks
black
were quite
country lad,
good.
and he was from
Is he?
I think so.
I don't know.
What are the other 2 names then?
Harry,
Liam,
Niall.
Niall.
Okay.
Why are people drawn to that then?
Because they're pretty. And they were
Because
moldable.
of the quintessential, they appeal to mass in general. The quintessential of what you'd expect guys their age to look like, that girls would want to fancy.
But then again, the Beatles at that time looked like...
Exact quintessential.
The Beatles wrote records for women. Basically, the Beatles, they wrote a lot of their records because they understood who their fan base was, and they wrote a lot of records.
They made people like crazy. Girls would throw themselves at them, like fevers. I've seen things on YouTube and documentaries. They'd faint, like.
It was
like how?
It was insane.
Who would make you faint?
As in musician,
Yeah.
or just in general.
Musician wise.
Sorry. Ray Charles. Obviously, he's not around, but Stevie Wonder. If I met him, I'd probably have a bit of a dizzy spell. Aretha Franklin. Again, that can't happen.
Yeah.
Beverly Knight. I would love to shake her hand and share stage with her. Just being a backing singer, that would be happy. That would make me extremely happy. There's loads of people. Oh, D'Angelo too. I'd marry him.
Oh, okay. We can agree on that one.
So
there's an interesting artist, D'Angelo.
D'Angelo.
He was a musician, as in he played instruments. He was a singer. He was a producer. He had stage presence.
Yeah. Also add in kind of pop, not just from my point of perspective, but people
he had the look as well.
Yeah.
And the great thing about him is he never, well, in my opinion, he never compromised himself for the industry. He released his albums. He had a 10-year hiatus, and he came back. Dropped another great album. Did he? I don't know the ins and outs.
Weird stage.
Really?
Yeah, he went, but his last 2 albums actually were just musically incredible. I'm actually gonna go listen to that tonight. music.
We're talking about Django and the Vanguard and Voodoo.
No, there was
No,
one.
that's
There was one.
the
The one with the black cover.
Black Messiah.
Yeah.
No, that one. I get them confused.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
Black
that's
Messiah.
the one with the D'Angelo and the Vanguard, isn't it? The one he released maybe a few.
The one that everyone was complaining about that it wasn't mixed properly, but it sounds so freaking good. A lot of people complain say it was a bit dirty, but I love that about the product because it just
I think
sounded
if it's too
so
polished,
raw.
it's a bit, and especially
Raw.
the stuff he's doing shouldn't be polished. Like his music isn't polished.
Yeah, that one was like da 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 da.
I think how you produce a record can tell a story in itself as well, and if it's in like a dark place.
Yeah.
Such trash taste in music right now.
For me, honestly, I think that you're gonna go through periods. For example, because obviously, a lot of people when Motown was out, they would have said Motown was trash. In terms of like Motown was very polished, it was very regiment. They had songwriters that were just writing songs, musicians. Such musicians only played it. They had the people that was doing their makeup that look a certain way.
It had a formula.
It had a formula.
But it worked.
Mm-hmm.
And Marvin, but the maddest thing is Marvin Gaye rebelled against the formula.
Yeah.
And that's how even Seventh started coming into music, because Marvin Gaye created a whole album that had more of a jazzy element to it, and Barry Gordy, he didn't want to release it. So Marvin Gaye, he went out and was like, no, I'm gonna release this thing. And then he brought more energy into it. So a lot of the times what pushes music is the rebellion. Just the same way how James Brown was like, nah, everyone's playing on the thing, I'm gonna play on the one, I'm gonna bring that energy. So it's all, you gotta wait almost for that artist that who's gonna, because obviously now we got this trap book BS. Not saying that it's BS, but too much. I don't like too much of anything. Like I think there needs to be like some kind of alternative, and some of this. So now they've started coming through. People have started breaking through. Daniel Caesar's coming through. Her is coming through. These are other artists are coming through who are bringing a new sonic in. And all of a sudden you're getting these wave of artists now who's like, yo, finally we can breathe again. Like, finally we can play real instruments again. But it took somebody to be brave enough to say that I'm not going to just stick to, I'm going to break them all. I'm not going to be sticking to the norm. And I'm not going to just try and make money. Because you can always make money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's true.
Do you think music follows like the political climate? As in terms of what we're listening to, does it relate to how people are living in society?
I think it depends on the genre.
Music is media at the same time. You have to always remember that. Music has always been politicized. Well, I can't say the word. Whatever it is. It's always been that. From since people put words on it. Like, from since people put words on a beat, that's what. It's always been a part of the machine. At the same time, sometimes, and that's why when you get artists that don't necessarily adhere to the narrative, they tend to not be mainstream. So, yes.
Music and politics go hand in hand. And our most famous musicians were highly political. Michael Jackson especially, Bob Marley, Prince. Just name any of them. Anybody who's you consider at the top.
Madonna.
At the height of anything.
She was considered a feminist.
Deemed outrageous in the 80s, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. With all of her pointed bars.
But she was at that point in time, she was breaking more.
Her behaviour of videos.
Yeah. Well, just like a prayer.
Yeah, like a
just
prayer.
like a prayer. Yeah.
That would come to consider blasphemy, like of time back. So like music that challenges a narrative and a stereotype in the same way. It's always been used to push forward societal change.
Of course, and you always have to toe the line, and I would consider it what's the best thing I can say. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, control the position, and that's one thing. A lot of artists, they are allowed to
Sneaky.
as long as they toe a certain line, they're allowed to be political. But as soon as they cross the line.
So is it the people that break the mold and the people that don't toe the line that then become like the
They end up dead.
The standard.
The people that don't
no fucking lie.
of course.
They end up dead.
The people who don't toe the line, they usually end up dead. As soon as Michael Jackson
27
stopped
Club.
towing the line.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ta-da-da.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theories.
But I'm not even trying to like. There's videos of him on stage calling out the head of Sony.
Sony,
The devil. Michael Jackson owned half of Sony.
That was bad how he got around that by changing his name to a symbol as well.
He owned. Oh, that was brilliant.
Oh, that was brilliant. Sorry, I picked up half of it, but that was bad though still.
Yeah. He owned the Beatles catalog. He owned Beyonce's catalog. He owned 50% of Sony publishing. Like, there's never going to be an artist I can say that is going to ever achieve that again, because they're never just gonna allow something. Whoever made that decision probably got fired millions of times. Like, every time he must have saw that person, Sony must have fired them again because
who sold him Elvis? For fuck's sake, it's Elvis!
literally, like,
For fuck's sake.
But does anybody know how he actually acquired them though? Does anybody know how he actually acquired them?
well, from allegedly they said they wanted him so badly.
That they gave them to him.
Yeah.
Leverage them.
Part of the deal.
Yeah, they wanted
They
him
gave
so
them
badly.
away.
Yeah.
His musical weight and like.
They wanted him
Michael
so
Jackson,
badly that they gave him.
Is it him though, or is it like a legal team acting for him? Was he might, I can't imagine him sitting there.
I don't
Like,
know.
you've seen him, can you?
That was him.
Because when he's on stage,
It was very
this is what
Oh, that man,
Yeah,
you
it
were
was,
actually doing that.
No, I can't imagine him doing it.
Okay, let's not put you in that rabbit hole. No. So what does everybody think about Michael Jackson? Let's just ask an awkward question in the room.
I love his music.
Okay.
I do. I don't know whether I should anymore, but I do. It's very
Yeah,
good.
you
I
can't-
have
Jackson 5 stuff
Can't-
passable.
Yeah, man.
love
That's what I'm saying. 'Cause he was
No,
still
I
a
know
kid
people
then.
were
I'm
asking
on
me
board
this
with
about that and Michael Jackson and I don't know whether I should R. Kelly too. I was like, but I love their music, but I don't know whether I should actually
Nah, there's a
listen
difference
to it.
between
See, R. Kelly sings about his shit.
It's on tape.
But even still, regarding how many times have we discussed this?
Okay, sorry.
Do it to the
Sorry.
podcast.
Okay, let's not do it. Sorry.
Let me just say, regardless of
the dirt into the room.
regardless of whatever the media saying, or whatever's happened, whatever they've done, you can't deny they made good music.
Well, that's
Yeah, but bump and grind. I mean, no, I'm just thinking about you bumping and grinding and peeing on a kid.
Listen.
Yeah,
Let's
but
not
the
get
thing
into it.
is,
Let's
like-
not get into that.
Oh, my apologies. Allegedly.
But
that coming out though is like, this sounds like really silly and me being quite selfish, but I was so excited like last year I was gonna actually cover some R. Kelly and now I feel like I can't because I know we do it well.
there's so
I'm
much
like,
music
no
to
shit, I
choose
can't.
from.
No, I know,
Yeah.
but I was just like so excited. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. No, I'm not. I can't do that anymore.
But Michael Jackson, I don't think he should be in the same category as R. Kelly.
Yeah.
No, I would just bring like a comparison. Like, I don't think anyone would be upset if I covered a Michael Jackson song, but
R. Kelly's a bit.
My take on it is like, I'm waiting. The dust hasn't settled as yet. There's
Yeah.
so much. Like, okay, one person, not saying R. Kelly is not legendary, but what he's did, and he's blatantly flouted all the rules.
100%.
Like, he was holding people hostage in his studio, doing all sorts of things. Like, for me, with Michael Jackson, why it's so much difficult, why I always stand back and I'm always like, let me just wait for the dust to settle on this. And I'm not giving him any clout or any credit.
Yeah.
But if he's done something, he's done something, and he deserves to burn for it. Like, there's no difference.
100%.
But it is why now that somebody has died, that you are now coming again to drag up people to tarnish his record again when you've just bought the rest of his stuff for 750. You bought back the catalog for 750 million, which we know that it's not even worth. You understand? So you got your catalog back for nothing, and so now you just like basically pissing on the memory of this guy, almost like you're just gonna completely destroy his character, whatever he stood for, so people can no longer recognize what he actually stood for and the things that he was fighting for.
Yeah.
For the African community. I'm just playing because we're saying we don't say black, but I'm joking. But This was a guy that used to go around and speak to the black community. Yes, about them lifting up themselves, about them doing something.
They don't care about us.
Yeah, of course. Even,
that doesn't matter. That's like saying that Jimmy Savile used to do the same thing.
Yeah, but he did not have the same musical.
He ran a lot of marathons.
Right there. No. What I'm trying to say.
Did he? He was fat, wasn't he?
You can't just because someone does good deeds, it's not gonna cloud my judgment on whether I think they did bad ones. I know a lot of people do good things who do bad things.
I agree completely, but the reason why I was saying is that's why I said if he's done what he's did, let him burn free. That's why I'm just waiting for the dust to settle. But there is so much reasons to bury somebody like that. Because the reason for someone to bury somebody like that, because this is somebody who literally where he came from nothing to rise to be, arguably you want to dispute it or not, the greatest musician, singer of all time. We're talking about from since records began, you understand? And it's kind of like, it's either that you die the hero or you live long enough to become the villain. That was the thing that they saw was saying. But now when you die, they'll make sure that you're the villain because
you can't do anything about it.
They'll pound you into the ground if they need to, and that's what I'm worried about.
But the problem is that's not applied across the board because we look up to killers and murderers and people who are stealing, plundering, robbing, pillaging from average folk, savages, like real savages. We look up to these people. You got a Columbus Day, you in different countries. You got everywhere that anybody's been. The most savage people have been the ones that are venerated.
Yeah, it's almost
definitely.
It pays to be wicked people.
Because like even knowing our culture being savage is a good thing.
Yeah.
So
man, that's a savage.
how are you proud of that? You have to be almost a psychopath to be a CEO, but we look up to all of these people.
That's a great point.
That's crazy.
It pays to be wicked. It pays to be wicked, and everyone's being wicked. So it's like if you're the person that's not, you're soft or you know you're not up to the times or whatever. It's almost like everyone's trying to be savage. Everyone's trying to be more savage than the next person.
More greedy than the next person.
What's going on? Really?
It's encouraged though, isn't it? Because it's just that thing of like divide and conquer. If you encourage people to just do it by yourself and stand up for yourself and never mind the community or anything else, just be on your own and do your own thing. It's very much promoted like that kind
Capitalism.
of.
That's a great point.
That's like the vibe is like don't talk to your neighbours. Do you know what I mean? I think we're all a little bit more paranoid now.
Everyone's a weirdo.
Everyone's a weirdo.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Everyone's weird. Everyone's like you don't talk to no one.
Yep.
Keep your head down and go to work.
Yep.
Well, I don't believe for 1 second that there's more paedophiles around now.
No, it's just more talked about.
It's just that it's more like it's just more exposed. It's more. Do you know what I mean? There's more perverts. Like you can see it now. Like it's and I think the media points it that way as well. The media tells you to be paranoid.
I think there is more now because of things like social media and
well,
because
there's more access to.
Yeah, we can look at other people's lives more now. Whereas before you couldn't, so I think your desire for other things was less. I think back in the day people just wanted less. Now we want everything all the time.
The thing is, I think the world goes through periods of exposure and decadence. Like, God forbid if you were to look back at some of the pictures in the 1800s. There was so much periods, 1900s. There's so much periods of debauchery throughout the ages. But someone like, if you go to someone like Jimmy Savile, I believe that Jimmy Savile was a scapegoat. I believe that Jimmy Savile was thrown under the bus by the rest of the pedophiles.
Yeah,
simple fact.
They sacrifice one every once
The
in a while.
BBC, they're rife. Parliament, it is rife. Matter of fact, I was watching a documentary of a guy said at 12 he used to be picked up in these really expensive cars and taken to places.
So you used to take them from the boys' homes and stuff, the children's homes?
To go on service,
the Catholic Church
members
also
of Parliament, go on service,
kids
all of these guys.
I heard something about
the
the Prime Minister's apparently lost 70 odd files of paedophilia
They have?
In Parliament, in high places. Apparently she lost these files.
Frankie Boyle had a bad joke that the sex offenders register and the Queen's Honours list was starting to resemble.
That's not a bad joke, it's a really good joke.
It's not even funny.
But we know this as people and we're not doing anything about it, so why not? Just let them continue. Cause
what can we do about it though?
We can do a lot about it, but people don't care enough because we're all focused on lifestyle.
That's a great.
But if you're gonna get called out on it, like if you
there's a lot of us, there's a little bit of them. It's the same mentality that's been happening for time. For some reason, we feel like we're all alone on an island. There's bare of us here with the same shit.
I think people genuinely, it sounds so horrible to say, but I think in the grand scheme of things, people don't care.
It's like it's not affecting my immediate life. I'm not gonna do anything.
But this is what they've been able to do. They've been able to create a system, as I say, so your only self-worth comes from your possessions.
Mm-hmm.
So they've trapped you in the cycle of, like I said, go into work, keep your head down, because when you see them things happening, you've got a mortgage to think about.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got to think about putting food on the table. You got to think about, if I stand up to these people and I'm sitting on the news,
and how are you gonna stand
a job gonna keep me, or they're gonna be like, you gone.
And how are you gonna stand up to? Because marching ain't gonna work, is it? Because everyone marches all the time these days, isn't it?
The thing is,
so the only way you have to try and overthrow them, and then you end up getting
get organized.
This is how I believe in it. My theory is 1,000 candles or 10,000 candles or 100,000 candles burning will light up this whole place. Do you understand? But when you light one candle, it's like, don't expose that candle. Do you understand? You as a candle, you light another candle. You understand? And then you go forward and you light another candle, and you go forward and you light another candle. You understand? You don't come out until you got at least 10,000 candles. When you defeat an army, he doesn't wait until he has 10 soldiers to start going back to march. No, he builds an army. He keeps it hidden. Before it's too late, the army is now marching on your doorstep, and you didn't even know that they built the army. And that's what we've got to do, in the sense of like.
But that's exactly what America do. That's why they have gun laws. So they have an army. So if anyone ever tried to invade America, fighting.
Yeah, the second amendment.
Yeah. So that's why they just build their army.
With us who are woke now, the key is
That's such a bad one.
Well, I know it's a bad one. Okay, those people who want change, if you want change has to start within you. Now, once you've brought about change, don't be like how people are now on the internet trying to act all superior and trying to talk down to everybody else. Oh, I'm woke and I'm enlightened, so now, hey, hear thee, listen to them, they go on a soapbox, they preach to everybody else, become a vegan, don't do this, don't do that.
I like that you went straight to vegan.
No, that's not what it's
the militant and vegans, man.
That's not what it's about. You understand?
They might have an army, be careful.
Yeah, wait, keep it down.
They're gonna pull up.
avocado.
No.
Avocado.
Avocado.
I pelt you with them.
Teacher, give a man a fish, and he will eat for a day. But if starving on other days, you have to feed him everything. It's about teaching the other person how you learned how to fish, and let them find their own way for that. And then it is once you have started doing that, and you start teaching people how to become independent in terms of creators of creating wealth for themselves and independently thinking, organically things will start changing. And see, this is what they are afraid of, because it's like cancer spreads by corruption. So there's a cancer within the society. So it is, instead of alerting it and saying, hey, you know what, guys, we're gonna cure cancer, we just quietly uncorrupt the cells.
100% agree with what you're saying.
I've always the cells silent.
Make secret societies for good. Having a good Illuminati.
Yeah.
Don't make us army.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't make a lot of noise.
But the thing is, as soon as things like that start happening, and you notice people start becoming more conscious and more aware of what's going on. In my opinion, I just throw in something like Brexit, like something like that comes up, and then all of a sudden everyone's divided again. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can.
it's like
there's always going to be something that comes up that's going to divide people again.
You can't make. So the thing is, it's cool. It's like, for example, European Union. These are countries that all hated each other. They still do. But they've come, am I wrong? Well, they've come
behind
together.
Closed doors,
of course, but they've come together for one cause. Okay, like, cool, like, you don't agree with Brexit, whatever, but yo, we still hate the system. Always remember that. You understand? Fine, you black and white, whatever. I don't really care what your issue is.
Yeah.
But let's stick to the point that we still hate the system. I'm not going to try and get too caught up on the things that I said that they don't matter. But in the grand scheme of things, like, what are we really trying to achieve here? Because we can't keep being at each other's throats for things that don't matter. I'm not saying that it matters, but not on the grand scheme of things. It's like, let me teach you. You know, so if I see somebody that asks me a question like, how do I do this? Like, how do I get my music, like musicians, go back to the music thing, like, for example, how do I put my music on the internet? I'm not going to put it behind a paywall and be like, aha, you know what, now you have to know that I will educate you, because how I look at it is like, okay, I'm a producer. If I empower artists how to make money, it means that they will now have money to come to my studio to record, or to say, hey, you know what, I learned that. Also, you said go on gig. I learned how to gig. I learned how to do an email. Guess what? Now I'm getting paid to gig. You know what? I would like to come and pay you to produce me a record.
Not a lot of people think like you. Like, as in, from what I've seen in Birmingham circles and other ones, people keep like contacts for gigs secret. So I'm not going to mention any names, but say, I want to gig at this particular place. Yeah. I know a vocalist knows how to gig there, but they won't tell me. Yeah. Whereas if they were to ask me and I knew, I'd tell them, because I'm still going to gig there. Maybe won't gig as much there, but you don't want to over gig somewhere, because people will get sick of you. So it's just like, well, can you just share it? But people don't want to. Not everybody. But a lot of people, no, it's my place. I'm not going to tell you. You know, you can't have my beats or my theory or anything. No, I'm not.
The theory of is the same thing. Go back to the divide and conquer. Another lie that they will tell you that there is not enough.
There's enough for all of us. Yeah. Everybody can eat. Everybody.
They would have storehouses, storing the food, and tell you that there's a famine.
Do you see how much money they just raised for Nuptra now?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like, what?
I mean, it's a beautiful building, don't get me wrong, but the church has loads of money anyway, so why can't they just...
700 million in one day.
In my head I just pictured it like a GoFundMe for really rich people. Like, that's how I pictured it. I thought, who's got, like, because all of the people that donate, I'm looking going like, oh, this is just GoFundMe on a bigger scale, and it's like a load of millionaires. I'm just kind of like, oh no, we need to put that back. We like that.
Yeah.
They've just showed you, that we don't matter.
But look how they...
Yeah, 100%.
You know what 700 million could feed?
I know.
But they've been raising $700 million all the time. You've seen Feed the Children campaigns. Yeah. You've seen them. You've seen them. They've been going on since you was young, innit? Since you could have seen TV, they've been Feed the Children. Shouldn't all the children be fed by now? Shouldn't there be resources in place for people to be fed by now? But yet they're still begging for money? To do what? To pay the administrative costs to continue to do the same bullshit?
They ain't feeding nobody.
Ain't feeding us. So if you really want to feed people...
Charities are corrupt, man. Like, a lot of them.
Charities give 30% if they are good charities. Yeah. To the cause.
I think it's legally 80% they can keep.
Well, you keep 80% to do.
Yeah, legally you can keep up to 80%.
Okay.
Do you know what some charity directors get paid?
Yeah.
Highway robbery.
Come on, but this is what I am trying to say. The innovators, the lifeblood, has always been the creators, the musicians, the artists. You guys are woodworkers. You guys are artists. You guys are here making a change, literally. And no pun intended. It has always been us. And then the bureaucrats with the money coming and says, hey, I like your idea, but I can invest into your idea and give it to everybody. Yeah. And we get like, ooh, that sounds good. More money because you're starving, right?
Yeah, and spreading what you're doing.
Right. And then they take your company, and first they will take maybe 40% of it. And then they will come in, legal loopholes, they will take 50%. Like, oh, let's go public. and then they will put it public, and then before you know it, your company is gone, 80%. So it's gone to the market, 80%. And before you know that, you're being ousted as the director, and your company no longer exists. And this is how it is. Like, we need to create our own systems, and we need to remain organic as much as we can. And it needs to be self-investment within us, because it's like I just need to find so many of you guys.
Bureaucrats are at the door. They haven't come to us.
They are the bureaucrats.
The bureaucrats have arrived.
I swear on my life, for a minute I thought it was that fucking avocado arm. I thought for a second I turned off. Nah, 'cause when we were talking about
Attack!
listen, you said earlier that the chappie known rainforest to plant avocados, and then in my head I was thinking, shit, I know the vegans have got a plan, man. What they're going to do, they're going to get the avocados. It's sustainable living. It's an army that can keep moving. Look, they can eat the fruit, eat as much guacamole as they want, and then fire the fucking bullet out of them.
Have you heard of that? Have you heard of
Yeah, that's what I thought. Was at the fucking door.
If you dry them out,
it's an army that can keep moving.
Oh god.
Yeah, the palm oil.
Yes.
Yeah.
The palm oil industry alone, they are destroying the forest.
Yeah.
Forests and
Exactly.
all the wildlife in it at the same time.
Yeah.
Isn't it like mainly, not mainly, but orangutans?
Orangutans.
I watched an orangutan try to beat up a excavator.
Yeah,
That just made me wanna cry. Like, why? Orangutan should know what excavator is.
Fam, it's actually mentally insane. So like I've just come up with a couple of ideas. One of the greatest ideas, whoever's listening, if they want to run ahead and do it, I will give it to them. Like, I don't even really care, especially for artists. I feel like Birmingham or the West Midlands, it definitely needs an agency for live music within all of these trendy bars. Look, we are being invaded by trendy bars who wanna look cool, who wanna look good. I know Marco P. White regularly has a pianist at least every weekend.
I've tried to get into these trendy bars to play, and you've got to go through weird little agencies, like little ones, and like sign away your life.
Right, so
you get paid £100 for 3 hours. I'm like, no.
So they got these weird little agencies, but what I'm saying is, like, you see, if all of the musicians come together who were being treated, and I say, and we was like, listen, we are only going through this agency.
Yeah.
You understand? The difference can be made because a lot of these bars have not been infiltrated, like the Alchemists and these places. They don't have any music. It's just for somebody, because I'm too busy. But just so much to just start knocking on doors, you know what I mean? A friendly face, you know, I'm being politically correct. And speak to all of this, and then just say, hey, we got the musicians, we got the artists. I think your bar would benefit from having some live music. That's another way that in Birmingham, as the times are moving, and you can see gentrification happening where they're pushing the poor people out and they're pushing it. We can then find ways to innovate and find ways to create money for ourselves. Like, that's power comes from being able to be self-sufficient. No matter how powerful you are, if somebody is feeding you, the day that they stop feeding you, you will realize that. You know, but for like you,
Greg, register making change agency, quick time on.
Yeah, you should.
Before I release this podcast.
Yeah.
You could be a friend.
Good idea.
Yes.
you could be
Whoa. No. Not in a minute.
we just for me, I just think that there's so many ways to do things without having to have to be known for it. Too many people want to be known. Too many people within, let's say, as they call the woke movement, they want to become celebrities themselves. They want to be known. You understand? They want to be a Moses. They want to be a Jesus. They want to be somebody who's remembered. But that's the problem. Every time you become that person, they kill you.
And some people ain't willing to die, so they just sell out. And next thing you know, you got Al Sharpton.
True. And all of these figures, they kill you. So if you are looking up to one person, as soon as they take that person out, that's dispersed. But if it becomes many people within organization, like little lights all around the city, inspiring change or making a change, fam, it's a great name.
Do you think that we idolise like raw musicians basically in the room, or have some form of artistic? Do we idolise artists too much?
We put a lot of responsibility socially on artists.
Yeah.
I think people who are creative, I don't think you necessarily need to look at them as a pinnacle for morality or a pinnacle for what you should do as an individual. Which is weird because musicians are generally, no offense, disturbed. I want some. But to be able
what are you trying to
make
say about me?
No, I embrace this. Don't worry.
to be able to make things that are meaningful, it has to come from some sort of pain or trauma or something like that. Most of the time.
You say that, but you got to be careful because some musicians embrace it a little too much. Oh, I've got to go and have a breakup. I've got to go do this to be able to write. I've got to have a bottle of wine. When I lived in Spain, I had to be drunk to write and sing. I had to have like half a bottle of Jack Daniels. Wow. I'm not joking. I wouldn't get on stage if I hadn't had a certain amount. And then I heard a recording of myself and I went, shit, that was horrible. Not doing that again. So I think you gotta find the balance.
Not overindulgence, but in general, that's the kind of thing that happens. So I don't understand why you then look at these unique people who are carving a niche anyway, or these people who are bucking against what is the norm, or these people who represent something else, an image. Why are you looking at these people for guidance? For politics? They have a voice, but we shouldn't give them so much of a voice. Listen to the music. Leave the people alone.
When you were like, oh look, they were wearing this yesterday, or they did this, or they did this in their personal life. I'm like, no, you need to.
Page 6, Daily Mail, kiss my ass. Stop doing that shit. I don't care about what they wear.
The artists are doing. It's just for the music. See, I agree, and I think it's dangerous that, like saying, the social pressures that we put on artists, because we make them feel like they have to be role models.
And they have to be on their best behaviour all the time.
And the second of having, like saying, people, the general public idolising them, getting kids to idol, because you don't know these people.
But do you think there's a point in an artist's career, if they reach a certain level of fame, that they should take on a certain social responsibility? If they've already reached that level of fame, then they should use. Don't you think they should use it for
as a
good?
Is everybody capable of that? Does everybody have the capacity to do that?
If they have the capacity to do that, yes. If they don't, then
no.
Yeah, I used to think that, and that's all. I agree with that. If they have the capacity to do that,
then let them do it.
The problem is, the ones that do, they always kill them again.
I'm coming back tomorrow, basically.
So the ones who do try.
All ends in murder.
The ones who do try, they just always kill them again. Always comes back to murder, isn't it? Well, I think the word idol. I have a problem with the word idol. Idol or image, something that you put up to worship, to be admired. The media, what the media do first is that they ham them up as these. The media wants to really ham these people up as these saviors. A lot of the time.
They can very easily bring them back down.
Of course.
They usually do, yeah.
But when they're ready, they start just notching them down little by little. As soon as they don't toe the line, but they're the ones that ham them up because they whitewash them. First thing that labels do, they will scrub your entire history of anything.
Oh yeah.
Squeaky clean. You've got handlers who make sure that everything that you do is perfect. You can't do anything out the line.
Well, you can, but behind closed doors.
Of course. But in the public eye, it's squeaky clean. Thankfully, due to social media now, it's actually allowed the artist to be more real, to be more human to social media.
Although some people have taken it to the extreme, just being a bit stupid.
Yeah.
But that's going to happen when you give
Everybody
24-year-olds so much fame and money, and
that somebody's gonna be shaking their ass naked on the internet.
Well,
yeah.
That's the case in life.
Yeah.
It's always how it is.
Someone's gonna do
it. Yeah, it's a tool, and somebody's always gonna abuse the tool. Just like a knife. A knife is like literally a kitchen knife. It's meant to be cut, and someone's gonna take it and go and stab somebody with it. You know what I mean? It could be a bread knife. It's still gonna try and stab you with it. So, butter knife, it doesn't matter. The tool, we can't always, I think that's another thing, we blame tools too much. And we don't put the onus
on the people.
People.
So you indirectly saying that these people that are idealising are tools?
No, some of social media, but
they are kind of tools.
Some of them are tools.
There are tools being used to distribute a message. There have been tools being used.
Justin Bieber's definitely a tool. Sorry, Abby.
No, I don't. I like some of his stuff. I don't know the.
Don't backtrack now. You said you were Justin Bieber.
And they're also being used.
I'm not a believer.
That's the chicken. That's the chicken and the egg issue. It is one. Why are people always looking for saviors, looking for idols? This is like, you see, a lot of people, they live their lives through other people. Before the social media just made it more accessible. But of course, it was just like they would have, back in the day, they all should have seen pictures of the girls having all of the posters of this person on their wall. And that. Yeah. And you wanted to be, you dressed like that person, you walked like the person, because your life was inadequate. A lot of the times, people's lives were inadequate. So they lived through these stars.
Well, it's bread and circuses, isn't it? Or bread and it's what they did all the time. Because your life as a person, you realize it's so shitty, and you wonder why. if we didn't put all of these things in front of you to distract you. So it's like the gladiators in Rome. When the Roman Empire was falling to shit, they had so much activity. They had gladiators. They had bread. They had wine.
Let's throw money into the crowd as well.
Precisely. Wow. So people thought things were great, but in real life, things were shit. Your life was shit. Everything was shit.
Gladiators were like the celebrities of the day.
Pretty
the
much.
idols, yeah.
But why don't we have like doctors, scientists, astronauts? You know what I mean? Like I'm saying, why do we look for these things? You know, teachers. Do you know what I'm talking about? Why do we look for it in entertainment, but not in real life?
Because they're not entertaining.
Yeah, exactly. Is it music and like poetry, all the creative stuff is entertaining, whether you like it or not. So, for example, Justin Bieber, we're taking the piss. It's entertaining. Or if you like him, then not so much. But, you know, it's like X Factor, I don't agree with it, but I used to watch it because it was hilarious. I would get so annoyed because I went for it when I was 17. I didn't get through, and I was like, well, that's annoying. But it was funny, and I'd get angry, oh no, you shouldn't have said that, oh that was crap, but you'd still watch it.
It's just the chemicals it's releasing in your
As you said, it's the hard profile gladiators in bloodthirsty arenas, aren't they? And everyone just wants to see, people do want to see blood.
Yeah.
They're just like putting the thumb down, like finish him. And that's why so many people
jump on like the one with the crosses on it.
What's
that one?
Britain's Got Talent.
It's just done on that program.
On a metaphysical or spiritual level, music is literally, it's a universe. Not only that it's a universal language, but it is a spiritual catalyst. It does things to you, physically and spiritually.
It's a way of escaping in some way, if you look at it, or like expanding on something.
And it creates emotion. So it is a catalyst of emotion, and it ties you to places, things, people. It creates memories, and it
expands your consciousness, doesn't it?
And it tags those memories. So sometimes when you hear a record, it will bring you back to certain place.
Sometimes
not.
So it does a lot of things that other forms of art does not do. You know what I mean? A painting, it does, but it doesn't do that.
Not the same level.
Not on that same. No one watches a painting and has sex to it. But I don't know if they do.
Romance,
maybe they do.
Maybe they do.
On top of, I don't know.
You know, there's so many records that are responsible for human beings on this planet. You know what I mean?
D'Angelo, for example. Marvin Gaye, D'Angelo, come on.
Maxwell.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. Like, have you got one standout tune that takes you back to a certain place? Do you know what I mean? Like, not. I know there's obviously a lot, but do you ever think of, like, can you think of one off the top of your head that you go like, oh, that takes me back to like that particular happy place?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Everyone's got one on that.
Yeah. Mine shook ones.
Yeah.
Shook ones.
Yeah. Because I remember my brother coming back playing, and he was just bossing that he got this album, Mob album, and he put it on, and he made me sit. I was only young then. He made me sit there. And he was just like this in my face for the whole time. His head as well,
Mine's flipping. Is it Capleton? Lock Up. I remember we was on holiday in Gran Canaria, and we met these Londoners, and they give us a tape to listen to. It was me, Jamie, Craig, and some other people was in this hotel room, and we bought some weed off this lucky man outside, and we bought a bong from one of the market stalls, and we locked ourselves in the bathroom. And my friend's little sister was in the bathroom with us. She didn't smoke nothing, but she was high as fuck, man. And I remember we had this tape, and there was about 4 tracks on there or something, and that one tune was like proper like dirty reggae. Like.
Capleton is a bad man. Sounds like what's that one? Is it
Capleton tune?
No.
Artist.
Oh my gosh. Not Buju. How could I forget his name? But anyways, there's this tune that just always reminds me. Yeah, them I call us pirates. That just reminds me of summer all the time. In England. Every time I hear that tune, because when I first came to England, like people were just driving everywhere in their cars. That they love to blast the tune. Like Asians, that's their tune for the summer. if everyone knows this. If they've got a record, if they've got a car that has a speaker, that is the tune that they play. So that just ties me to someone, like one of my first summers in that tune. Yeah, so that's it. Music is just, it's really and it's the most abused art form. It's the most abused.
So people who can't do it do it.
Yeah, people who play extremely bad.
And I don't necessarily mean that with talent-wise or whatever, like they abuse it or abuse their talent or their lack of talent or whatever.
Yeah.
Going down a rabbit hole there.
Is there are there rules to it though? Is it, should you only make music if you're not necessarily good at it, because you could think that you're good at it yourself and try something, and because it's art, isn't it? You want to express yourself, so you express yourself. But then you get people that may do it simply for benefiting off it financially. Now, is that so wrong?
No, but I think the people who are talented should definitely be the ones to receive most of the benefits from an industry surrounded around their talent. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
I agree. And to add a caveat to that is that you cannot walk into a lab and just start picking up instruments and then says, yes, I'm going to be doing this. They would immediately kick you out. You understand? However, with the music, it's an open door. Anybody can walk in, especially today with social media. Anybody can walk in and says, hey, I'm a musician. You understand?
Yeah.
And even in other art forms, it's very strict. You can't just pick up a paintbrush and start painting and be recognized for that. It's extremely hard to be recognized as a painter. It's extremely hard to be recognized.
I don't know, because you've got musicians that become artists. After Ronnie Wood, Bob Dylan, they become artists, and I don't think personally their art is particularly that good, but because of the name they've got from music, now they're going to pick up, oh, it's brilliant, it's Bob Dylan.
Whereas Johnny Mitchell,
people like,
it's awesome.
There are people who are unknown now who become viral for singing like the stupidest things.
And that's the thing, it means that people who can actually do it.
He was a big star.
But is there longevity
They have to work
type of
harder.
thing?
I'm not saying I'm the be all and end all at all. But there are people like me who enjoy what they're doing, and people enjoy what they're doing and don't get recognised. I mean, they get recognised in Birmingham, it's lovely. I don't mean as in like facially recognised, I mean but there's so much shit that you have to go through to it. I don't even want to be famous. I just want a few hundred people to buy my albums. That would be nice. Just to kind of spread like the emotion that I'm feeling, like, you know. But there's so much, because anyone can do it now. So you've got to work through
so much to wait.
So much.
Does it put pressure? But the pressure creates diamonds sometimes. So
yes, there's an
aspect to
there's
that
a song
as well.
in that.
Because I mean, if there's so much there to be waded through, it kind of forces you to hone your craft so you can be heard over all of that noise. So there's a good and a bad aspect to it, but I definitely think people with raw talent, people who are talented, if they so choose to pursue their talent, they should be appropriately compensated for it. With no question.
Because it takes a lot of grit and patience.
Do you believe that the cream of the crop will always rise to the top?
The cream of the crop will always rise to the top. No.
Because some of them
there's
get
too many
disheartened.
variables.
Some get disheartened and there's too many variables.
Who you know.
Exactly.
The thing is, the most of the time,
things you're willing to do.
Yeah.
Like there's certain, I've been offered things. Do this and you'll get that. No, I'm not doing that.
The cream doesn't always rise to the top, but I think people know who are the cream. For example, there are certain musicians who are not that famous to us, but if they walked into a room, those who are famous would bow down and step aside. And I've heard so many stories of like that before, you know.
But then this is
people
what
have
I
stepped
mean.
in the game and like, that's a musician's music. For example, like there was this guy on NPR, and he was Dave Chappelle introduced him. He was a and he played the harmonica. Dave Chappelle was like, I saw him in France or whatever, and it's like he came to the show to introduce them. And he was like, when Stevie Wonder heard him playing harmonica, Stevie Wonder was like, I need to take you on tour. So it's like, that guy, we know you guys don't know him. He is famous within the famous musician circle. So he's a famous musician. So there are some people who are, let's say, the proverbial cream, that not in the eyes of the public rise to the top, but in the circles of where he feels that they matter.
It depends what you deem success, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
So when I say the top, I don't necessarily mean financially or chart wise or whatever. I mean like in terms of respect for the art form.
Respect for the art form. There are some people who are heavily respected in circles that, and that just goes for anything. Like there are some people who are music managers that you would never heard of, and that's the guy that you gotta talk to get to the star that you're looking at. They'll say, yo, you can't contact him. You gotta go to the guy that you don't even know. So that's why my mom always says to me, like, you don't disrespect strangers. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to get to Jay-Z, you could have just distracted Jay-Z man in the coffee shop and you didn't even realize that you did that thing. So it's crazy. So I think in that sense, it depends on if you want to be famous or you want to be a virtuoso at your craft. Because some people want to be virtuosos and some people want to be known by everyone. But I still want to be able to, that's why I like being a producer, I still want to be able to walk down to Tesco and what I need to do.
Well, when I was younger, I quite liked the idea of being famous, and now I'm like, no, I don't want to do that.
The thing about it is with arts especially, I feel like a lot of people with really good art, we only realize it's really good art when they're dead. Once again. Like, a lot of the people who we appreciate, they died not knowing that people would appreciate them so much. Or they died not knowing, like, they died walking towards even having their value.
Billie Holiday would be one of those people.
You know, Simone,
she was a little bit more famous than Billie, but like,
monetarily wise, they weren't compensated for their craft appropriately. And just in general, a lot of them died paupers, a lot of them died just destitute. Some of them it fell off like real bad, and it's sad actually.
And it's very sad, and that goes across the board, not just musicians but people in general. You don't really see in the media anyway like a lot of appreciation for them until they die, and then all of a sudden it's they did these great things. George Michael, when he died, he did all this stuff for charity, he did all this. Why was this not what's said about him before he died? And so he could,
no, it was
he
the
could
fact
feel
that
it.
he came out as being gay. As in, like, when he was alive, the big thing was, oh my god, he's doing all these things in toilets and stuff.
Yeah, they look knocking him down a peg or so.
Instead of the stuff he's doing for charity, and his voice was fabulous. Yes, he did, like, pop all the time, but, like, people like Aretha Franklin sang with him because he was better. She would not have sang with people who she didn't appreciate, like...
Fam, yeah, I said fam. Yeah, it's so crazy. It's actually so crazy. But I think people hate change.
Yes,
the general population they are probably all Tauruses. I'm joking. That's for you. They hate change. Abi-K always says that Tauruses hate change.
You gotta like ease them into.
Do we have a Taurus?
I'm a Taurus.
I'm a Taurus.
Oh, okay. What are you?
Sagittarius.
I think people in general, I think humans in general don't really respond well to
They
change.
hate change, innit? So when a new idea enters the atmosphere, it takes a while to propagate and become digested. You understand? And that's why I always say to somebody, if you're very, very unique and you're very, very talented, you gotta put, I call it the 70-30 formula. Same giving my formulas, whatever. But you take 70% of what they know and you integrate 30% of who you are. Encapsulate that within that and give it to them. You understand that? Over time, what will happen if your thing, you are very successful, you then become the mainstream. And this is what has happened to so many people. You understand? They have become, their thing has become the mainstream. When rock first started, it wasn't mainstream. It was not, even 80s music when it first started, people looking at these 80s guys like, what the fuck they're doing? What are those machines that are? We play real instruments.
Yeah.
Like, we play real instruments. We don't use synthesizers. What's that? A computer? We don't use computers. Like, they would have burnt you. When people first saw they playing, they wanted to kill the Wright brothers. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You trying to fly? You don't want to fly. Like, you trying to build a car? We're good with horses.
They actually thought the car wouldn't sell. Like, they really thought it was just crap.
Yeah, they're like, we're fine with horses. We don't want cars. So now we've got cars. We don't want flying cars. Get flying cars. No, we don't want spaceships. Like, what are you doing? This is like, people are so resistant to any form of new idea, innovation, any kind of vibe, any kind of change. So you the great ones are those who are able to introduce it, like feed them slowly and so on, more and more and more and more and more. And then there's certain tricks to it, just like rhythm. Rhythm is a great thing. So you can have rhythm as your foundation and then layer different cool ideas on top of that. So if you have a rhythm that everybody knows, you could probably put a Japanese flute in it and they will still vibe to it. But if you change the rhythm, people are like, oh, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what's that? What's that rhythm? Like, no, dancehall face come on like, oh my god, that is such we can't play that, we can't have that. Like, now dancehall rhythm is the rhythm that everybody is now using in pop mainstream to base their songs off of. It has now become the mainstream thing. Like, for example, African music, Afrobeat is now everywhere. But when I was in England first, I'll be honest, like, if you were I had an African friend. If you were speaking to an African person, you look upon like, oh my god, what are you doing? Like, you're speaking to an African person. Like, people look at you weirdly for even having an African. And I'm talking about black people would look at you like, oh my gosh, you know an African person.
No,
and
definitely.
No.
I think
When
I was growing up, Africans used to lie and say they were Jamaicans.
Yeah.
Yeah, serious. But the tables are turned now, though.
No, Jamaicans would lie.
Jamaicans are here. We African.
No,
it's true.
No,
it's true.
You've seen everybody doing Afrobeats and this. So you just realize that people are just so resistant and they hate what they don't know. And that's even what real racism
They seem
comes
to forget what came before, though. If you see what I mean, like, hate the cars, not going to sell, and there's like, oh no, I don't want to go anywhere near horses kind of thing. If you see what I mean, it's just, once they got into it, it's like, well, nothing happened before that.
The electric car is a good example, and Tesla seems like one of them people, you were saying about, he's like open sourced all of his inventions, like he's very much gone for spreading the knowledge. He's like, well, I've come up with this, you use it. And now it's kind of spreading through the industry, like, so.
Of course. And
it does work, mate.
Electric cars look sexy now.
Yeah.
People want electric cars.
And they fit the current system as well, do you know what I mean? They have to fit the same thing, so the change, like you said, the change isn't too subtle. Or the change is subtle enough that people go, alright, I can swap to that, because it's not too much different.
They had them ages ago, and they didn't have the technology to give them the same horsepower as a normal car. So people really did pick horsepower over saving the planet.
They don't want to take a step backwards.
And it's got to look a certain way.
And have a certain aesthetic. But surely if you worked on that beforehand, we would be much further along when it came to it.
We love, to be honest, we all love sexy. We all love aesthetics. Like everybody loves things that are pleasing. Yeah, people love cars, innit? Like we hate blocky stuff. I never understood why electric cars are just so fucking ugly. No, they were really ugly.
Is that you being resistant to change though?
Huh?
Is that you being resistant
No,
to change?
that's
that was shit for
me resistant
Did
to
you see
ugliness.
them? They were ugly.
What were you on about before? I thought you were talking about them now.
No, I'm saying electric cars used to be fucking ugly, like really ugly. Like they did not need to be that ugly. Somebody could have really just came along and made like a really cool. Like for example, before Apple came along, they had flat screen phones. They had touch screen phones. They were just not.
Somebody had to get the aesthetics right.
Yeah.
Somebody got the aesthetics right. Now all of a sudden everybody wants a freaking out. Everybody now, even Nokia, which was the top of the food chain. Nokia was the top of the food chain. It comes onto phones, but they were so resistant to change that they took too long to move.
Now they're behind.
Then they ended up being Nokia. It ended up being bought by another company. Imagine that. Nokia ended up being bought by another company. That and Nokia ended up being bought by Microsoft.
How long did BlackBerry try and hold on to that thing on the screen?
Oh my God.
You know when somebody's had an idea and they think theirs is the one and they're like, nah, fuck you. We're not joining. We ain't joining you. And Apple are like, bitch, please, come on, that screen's gonna go.
Exactly. and it's see, and that's the key to it. You gotta know when to evolve. And I think all great musicians know when to evolve.
Yeah, you got to know when to make a change. And that's what we're doing right here.
Yes.
People, we're making change. And on that note, I'm going to wrap it up. It's been beautiful. It's been politics and bullshit.
I love that.
It's been me, Greg Rogers, Aaron,
Lennis, Dynamiks.
Solange.
No plug Lennis.
Amani Music. Follow us, Amani Music UK on Instagram.
Yeah, Amani Music. Lennis, Dynamiks. Amani actually means peace. So it's actually Swahili for peace.
Peace music.
So it means peace music. Because, see, I'm giving it away now. It might arrest me. But I'm incorporating my ideas within what I do. It's part of my ethos.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
and Abi. Where can we find your music?
Well, Instagram, Abi-K is in the letter K. Music, I'm on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Facebook.
You got any gigs coming up?
No, you asked me. I don't have my diary. I'm in Birmingham on 1st of June at the Heron Hounds Blues Club with my 4-piece. We'll be doing originals and covers. I've got a few before that, but not in Birmingham, I think. Oh no, and then the Birmingham Jazz Festival in July.
Nice.
Keep an eye open.
Yeah, keep your eyes open. You heard it here.
And follow Making Change Studios.
Yes.
MakingChangeStudios.com. Making Change Studios on Insta. Making Change Stu on Twitter. Making Change Studios in Kings Norton. Come and see us. And that's a wrap, folks.
Dope.
Peace.